It's Valentine's Day, and you know what that means. I'm using it as an excuse to talk about Kingdom Hearts. Although this is kinda coming out a little later for a Valentine's Day special, I'm actually recording this the day after Valentine's Day, because I was very busy this week. But whatever, that's not important. Kingdom Hearts is a very interesting series when it comes to romance, because we've never actually seen two of the characters kiss. They've hugged plenty, and they've fallen to their knees in tears when they finally see their really good friend again. And I don't know about you, but that reads as pretty romantic to me. KH characters also really like to sacrifice their minds and or bodies and face death, sometimes at the hands of a loved one, just so said loved one can have a chance at survival and happiness. Which, again, maybe it's just because I'm gay or something, but again, that reads as pretty romantic to me, I'm gonna be honest. But there's never been an actual confirmation of any couples, which I find fascinating. It's prime material for angst and headcanons of unrequited love that could blossom if one of them would just make the first move. But I'm getting ahead of myself. And just to get ahead of the curve, I know that there's plenty of romance between the Disney characters. It's 100% canon, confirmed by Nomura in an interview, that Mickey and Minnie got freaky as soon as he got home in Kingdom Hearts 2. Trust me, my uncle works at PlayStation 2. But for the purposes of this video, I'm interested in the Kingdom Hearts original characters specifically. This video is going to be mostly off the cuff, just me yapping about some popular ships in the series, as well as some of my personal favorites. You're getting more of a podcast style tonight. Don't worry though, I will edit it down so it's actually watchable. I really wanted to get something small out while I finish working on the Kingdom Hearts Beginner's Guide. Basically what we're doing here is walking through each ship that I have prepared, talk about some canon evidence and interactions between the characters that would fuel it, not that any of that is actually necessary, and try to explain a little bit why people might like or not like it, like what the appeal is. And if you're new here, don't worry, there will be plenty of yaoi and yuri. And in the words of the great fanfiction writers before me, don't like, don't read. Or, I guess, watch. So we're gonna start off with an easy one. Sora and Kairi, or their ship name, Sokai. Sora and Kairi getting together is what the narrative wants. It's stated multiple times that Kairi is the most important person to Sora. And it's very traditional in that way. You know, the chosen one hero goes on an adventure, defeats a dragon and a monster or whatever, and saves the princess at the end, and then they smooch. And of course, there's the scene of Sora coming back from being turned into a Heartless, thanks to Kairi's love for him, be that romantic love or otherwise. There's a lot to go off of here. And Sora spends a lot of time in Kingdom Hearts 2 thinking about Kairi. One of my favorite scenes is at the end of the second Halloween Town visit in Kingdom Hearts 2, where Sora sees Jack and Sally together, and his mind goes to himself and Kairi. One of the things that gives me pause about Sora and Kairi, though, is Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail here because there is a lot there and I don't speak Japanese, but the translation of Japanese to English for Kingdom Hearts 3 changed a few of Sora and Kairi's reactions to give it a more romantic undertone than is originally there, which, due to that not really being accurate to the original Japanese, leads me to think that maybe Kingdom Hearts is starting to try to lean away from Sora and Kairi as a pairing. And that's if it was ever really the intention at all. I mean, you just as easily could have these characters just be friends. But once again, this seems to be the ship that the entire universe wants. The world, the fates are interacting in such a way that they want Sora and Kairi to fall in love together. And then give us a reboot 10 years down the line where we get to see their kid or whatever. So I think going against this ship and shipping either Sora or Kairi with someone else kind of has this aura of going against fate, which is something that in Kingdom Hearts 3, Sora shows that he is completely willing to do. But you could counter that he broke those laws of nature again just to save Kairi. So either way, these characters are probably as close as any two characters in this entire series could be. And I do think that a lot of this ship's popularity comes from that. You'll have a lot of people who don't care about shipping as part of the way they interact with fandom, who just kind of assume this is the case. Yeah, Sora and Kairi, they get together. Of course they do, because they're supposed to. It's the boy and the girl, which I think then adds to the whole, this is fated to happen because it's so obvious. It has to happen. And I just think that's very interesting. Riku Replica and Namine, or Replinami. I don't know if I pronounced that right. This is right off the bat a very self-indulgent ship for me. Riku Replica is kind of one of my favorite characters in the entire series. He has a lot in common with Roxas and Roxas's whole arc about wanting to be his own person. And I find Riku Replica to be a lot more tragic because he doesn't even get his own name. He is just Riku Replica. Although I know a lot in the fandom have decided to call him Repliku, which is fun, but you just mash the two words together. And he never actually gets to be his own person separate from the real Riku, which is very tragic. But what about him and Namine? Well, obviously the plot of Chain of Memories justifies this on its own. But I want you to look at it like this. Riku Replica has no memories except for those given to him by Namine of Namine. He is hopelessly devoted to her, even though he knows the memories are fake. And let me just say, Namine, playing dolls by imprinting memories of yourself onto two boys to make them fight over you? Iconic. But then, I think we kind of get the end of this, and I can't imagine Replica is coming back in a future game. But in Kingdom Hearts 3, he lets himself fade away into nothingness, just so Namine can take the vessel and say that he helped her. Riku says this in the scene it happens, just take the vessel. They can make more vessels later, but Replica is so obsessed with wanting to protect Namine and help her and serve her that he gives up his life just so she can come back a little bit sooner. He kind of reminds me of Seifer in Final Fantasy VIII and how he desperately wants to be a knight and protect a witch or whatever the plot is. It's been a while since I've played 8. But Seifer's really cool in that game, and he's a lot cooler than he is in Kingdom Hearts. Sora and Rapunzel, and Sora and Ariel. I'm combining these two into one just to get them out of the way pretty quickly. A lot of this just comes from seeing our main boy stand next to a girl and wanting to draw fan art of the two of them together. It's pretty simple, not a lot to go off of. I really like Sora and Rapunzel's interactions in Kingdom Hearts 3. I think they get along perfectly. They're very similar characters. It's very cute. And I think someone could read romance in that. And I wouldn't be opposed to seeing some fan art of it every now and then. And when I was a kid, I thought it would be cute if Sora and Ariel were a couple. I think same thing, they have a lot of chemistry. And although, you know, I would have always said Sora and Kairi are the end game and they have to be, I did want to entertain the idea of Sora and Ariel. I think their character designs are just very complimentary as well. So yeah, this is also kind of a catch-all for these ships that are really just a character and a Disney character. There's not really a whole lot to it. It's just, hey, wouldn't this be cute? And usually, yeah, it is pretty cute, of course. Axel and Roxas, Akuroku. Okay, this one has fallen out of popularity a lot, I think. If you were on the internet, at least for me in the early 2010s, seeing in the Kingdom Hearts fandom, the shipping side of it, people loved putting Axel and Roxas together. I think it's fallen out of popularity more recently because a lot of these people have grown up and actually played both Kingdom Hearts 2 and Days. But let's talk about pre-Days. If you just played Kingdom Hearts 2 and you saw these two characters interacting, I think you could really draw some angst and some possible romantic feelings for the two of each other. Between the two, romantic feelings between the two. The way their relationship is portrayed in Days, they're just friends. Axel is a lot taller than Roxas, but they are just good friends. And maybe more, because again, we don't see a lot of them. However, post-Days, I think this gets a little weirder. It's established much more after that Axel is a little older than Roxas. I don't think they have canon ages. I believe Roxas is supposed to be 14 like Sora is in Kingdom Hearts 1. But I would assume Axel is older. Old enough that it makes it kind of weird and kind of creepy. Especially because of how their relationship is portrayed in Days. Axel is much more of an older brother type figure. He kind of takes this younger kid who's really struggling under his wing and takes care of him. Their relationship is still really good, but I do think that adding romantic feelings into it gets things a little weirder in a post-Days world, a post-Birth by Sleep world, when we see how much older he is. He's probably like in his mid-20s, if he was like a teenager during the time of Birth by Sleep. But don't worry, because we have characters to ship with both Axel and Roxas separately. Lee/Axel, and Isa/Saix. I mean, when I said 2 seconds ago that we had someone else to ship Axel with, who else do you think I was talking about? Have you played 358 Days Over 2? Saix is the most jealous, petty ex-boyfriend I've seen in my life. Obviously, going back further in the timeline, they were best friends during the events of Birth by Sleep, and then after it, and you could very much say, okay, this is romantic. They're boyfriends, actually. By the time of Days, Saix acts like a jealous ex-boyfriend, angry because Axel decided to take the 2 14-year-olds in the organization under his wing, and he spends the entire game just being a bitch about it. Like, Saix goes out of his way to be mean to Roxas, and especially Xion. And the game makes it very clear that it is out of jealousy, with him saying stuff like, "How could you forget who your true friends are?" That's my Saix impression. Did you guys like it? Now, of course, this retroactively, and I just say that because I can't imagine that they had Subject X planned all the way back when Days was coming out. But retroactively, this could have to do with Subject X. How Lee/Axel kind of didn't really think about Subject X for a while and was focused on taking care of Roxas and Xion. When we know that Lee and Isa only went to Ansem's castle and became his apprentices and then later joined the organization in order to try and save Subject X. Now, obviously, we don't know enough about her, and we have never actually seen on screen their interactions with her. But you could come to the conclusion that part of the reason why Isa was as devoted to trying to rescue her is romantic, which obviously we're not going to get into that. I'm not really going to expand on that. But it could mean that him and Lee's relationship wasn't as romantic. There are multiple ways to interpret this, but it mainly comes down to we haven't seen anything of these characters interacting. I should mention, on the topic of Kingdom Hearts 3, Axel and Saix get the scene of the two of them at the clock tower before the final battle at the Keyblade Graveyard. These two truly care about each other, and you could make the argument that Saix was always a good guy secretly, with him purposefully laying the seeds to bring Xion back during their fight, and he was just a double agent the entire time. Which, of course, is very similar to how Axel was a double agent in the organization, focusing on his own interests as well as the organization's. Alternatively, this could be Saix's way of trying to atone for how much of an asshole he was during Days. We don't really see anything of their relationship after 3, after all 3 of them are back to life. Of course, immediately after Roxas and Xion are brought back, they beat the ever-loving shit out of Saix. But hey, maybe afterwards all is forgiven. You know, maybe we've hashed this beef out. It remains to be seen how close Isa is going to be to the rest of the group. Although, the scene at the clock tower of all 4 of them, as well as Hayner, Pence, and Olette, makes me think that we're all buddies now. It's all good. But again, who knows where this relationship is going to go, if at all. But I think that's all I can say about Lee and Isa. Very, very relationship-coded characters. Roxas and Namine, or Roku Nami. I think this comes from them being counterparts to Sora and Kairi. I do like their scenes together at the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, and I think you definitely can latch on to stuff from that relationship the two have. However, then they aren't able to be their own people at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. Roxas becomes one with Sora, and Namine becomes one with Kairi. Again, solidifying that they are counterparts to each other. And like I said with Sora and Kairi, they kind of have this fated to be type of relationship going on. Like, you could beat Kingdom Hearts 2 and at the end say, Roxas and Namine are still able to be together through Sora and Kairi being together. And that's sweet. But we never really ask the question, do Roxas and Namine want to be together like that? Don't they deserve to make that choice for themselves in the first place? It kind of makes me think that maybe like Sora and Kairi, Roxas and Namine not ending up together is a rejection of fate. And I think that's perfect for these characters. I mean, neither of them were meant to exist. That's kind of a core tenet of their characters. But thanks to their own will to exist, as well as Sora fighting to save them, they are able to. And thus, they don't have to be forced to be together. What can I say? I'm a big fan of stories where characters defy fate. It's real Final Fantasy VII Remake hours up in here. Roxas and Xion, or Rokushi. These characters have a lot of chemistry in Days, probably more than any two characters in that game or most other games. They have this kind of doomed love thing going on. Imagine having to kill the person you love most, and then losing all your memories of them, with the exception of the hatred of the people who took them for you. These are two characters who are learning how to be people together. People always talk about the "who else will I eat ice cream with" line. And I think in recent years, a lot of people have come around to saying, no, this is actually really good because the whole point is Roxas's understanding of friendship is people he eats ice cream with. And he's already turned his back on Axel and the organization. All he has is Xion. And he's just lost her. It's heartbreaking. And again, you don't have to interpret their relationship as romantic. But I think you really can. I think that love they have for each other can be treated as romantic. For both of these characters, I can't think of a better ship than with each other. Once again, they tell a beautifully tragic story, and it's really satisfying when they finally are able to see each other again. I'm getting choked up just thinking about it. Oh my goodness. We gotta move on. I gotta talk about the next one. Riku and Namine. Okay, not a lot to this. I know Riku and Namine have some chemistry in Chain of Memories, and of course, they still interact in Kingdom Hearts 2. Riku spares Namine's life when Diz ordered him to kill her. But there's really just not a lot to go off of. I think these characters are friends. I really like that when Namine is given a vessel at the end of 3, Riku's the one to come and pick her up. And I think this connection obviously comes from Riku Replica, but real Riku doesn't have those feelings for Namine. And I find it so funny that in the original ending of Kingdom Hearts 3, when Riku picks her up in the gummy ship, he reaches his hand out to for her to take it. And they changed that in Remind. He's just standing there. He doesn't reach out because people, I assume it's because people interpreted it as romantic. I find it so hilarious, though, that they had him just stand there. So we don't have a canon romance in Kingdom Hearts, but we do have a canon friend zone. Poor Namine, she can't catch a break. Riku and Xion. I don't like this ship. I liked it for about 20 minutes when I was 14 because it just made sense. It's like, oh, well, Sora and Kairi have to be together, and Roxas and Namine have to be together. Riku, who do Riku and Xion be with? And this was before I had considered that maybe I can ship boys with boys and girls with girls. But that novel concept, that breakthrough hadn't happened yet. So I was like, well, Riku and Xion, it just makes sense. They have some interactions. In my notes for this video, I wrote that it feels like it only exists out of obligation to pair these two characters with someone. Not out of any desire for these two specifically to be together. Sokai and Rokunami have to exist, so this might as well to fill it out. And quite frankly, that sucks. That's not how you write characters. That's not how you write romance. That's really lame. Especially since these two characters have only ever interacted when they're at odds with each other. Riku beats the shit out of Xion and bullies her and makes her feel like trash in their one major interaction. And when he's not doing that, he's just telling her that she has to die so he can bring back Sora, the real person he cares about. If I were Xion, I would not be into this dude. Maybe I would say, well, now that everything's said and done, now that Kingdom Hearts 3 has happened, we can be friends. I'm not dating the guy, though, I can tell you that much. And maybe Xion reminds Riku of Sora. But once again, Sora's the character that he actually cares about. Spoilers for later in the video. I don't think there's any way that you can do this that makes it satisfying. This only exists out of the compet desire for a boy and a girl to be together. Not caring about the two of them as people or characters. Which, of course, brings me to my next ship. Marluxia and Larxene. Or I guess Lauriam and Elrena, but I've never actually seen them shipped as their somebody forms. Although I guess their friendship forms once they're in the organization. Bottom line, these two are not straight. I'm sorry. No shot. Marluxia is the gayest man in a group of gay men. It's like a top 13 gayest dudes in the world convention. And Marluxia's at the top of it. Look at him. Look at the rose petals. Come on, man. Sure, Larxene and Marluxia are really good friends. But I think that's all they are. Their entire partnership seems to be business. Until, of course, the ending of 3 when Larxene is defeated and says that she only joined because Marluxia was there. But you know what? That's because he's all she has. Assuming she got back her memories of the Union Cross days, Marluxia is all she has. Her only friend from that time who's still around. Terra and Aqua, or Teraqua. Honestly, if you want my opinion, if you want my honest opinion, this does feel like another boy and girl stand next to each other so they have to date type ship. For a lot of people. I know a lot of people just are like, an adult man and an adult woman who are friends, they must be romantically involved. I think that's as far as most people take it. However, I don't hate this. I kinda like the idea of the two of them getting together. I do enjoy it. I think the two characters complement each other very nice, and visually. I mean, I've seen so much fan art of Terra and Aqua as a couple. It's adorable. And of course, Aqua sacrifices herself so that Terra isn't lost in the realm of darkness at the end of Birth by Sleep. And when they're reunited in 3, Terra has his line about how she never stopped lighting his way back. There is stuff to work with here, but quite frankly, not as much as your Axel and Saix's or your spoilers for the rest of this video. Next up is Aqua / Zack. Honestly, this falls into the same category as Sora and Rapunzel and Ariel. I just think this one has a little more meat on its bones because Zack point blank asks Aqua out on a date, which I find hilarious because I guess in this timeline he's never met Aerith. But I mean, Cloud and Aerith are close in the Kingdom Hearts universe, so I just thought maybe Zack would be as well, but who knows. But honestly, I'm just kind of happy that Zack is here at all because I like him as a character. Honestly though, these two don't have very much chemistry, Again, outside of Zack asking her on a date. I could see someone really being into this as like a self-indulgent type of thing, like, oh well, Zack's your favorite Final Fantasy character and Aqua's your favorite Kingdom Hearts character, and there's literally a scene where he asks her out, so you might as well draw fan art of the two of them together. It's cute, it's fine. Although over on the Final Fantasy side of things, I am hardcore, endgame, OTP, Tifa and Cloud. And then by extension of that, Zack and Aerith. So seeing Zack with someone other than Aerith does feel a little awkward, but I digress. Aqua and Cinderella, and Terra and Cinderella. Once again, at the very surface of it, you could just say that this is another Sora and Rapunzel, Sora and Ariel type situation. But I moved it over here because I find it so funny that both Terra and Aqua are shipped with Cinderella. And there's enough for both of them. They are both kind of knights in shining armor for her. And I mean, come on. Kingdom Hearts ex-Disney character Yuri? How could I say no? But again, Terra and Cinderella are very cute together. Obviously, canonically, she gets together with Prince Charming, just like the movie. But I just can't get over how cute it is. And just funny that there's not one, but two Kingdom Hearts original characters who are shipped with her. How do we resolve this? Well, Cindy does have two hands. Need I say more? Xehanort and Eraqus. I mean, who doesn't love some old man yaoi? Come on! How could you hate it? I really do think this is the case. And this is the first male-on-male ship that I've talked about in this video where I think this is really the case. If you look at all of their interactions in Birth by Sleep, in 3 to an extent, and especially in Dark Road, if you made it so one of them was a girl and it was a boy and a girl, people would be much more willing to... People wouldn't default to them having romantic implications much more. The only reason why you don't is because they're both men. Unless you just don't like the ship, then, you know, to each their own. I totally, you know, it's not, I'm not judging. I'm not judging. But I'm gonna be honest, the only explanation for why Eraqus continued to trust Xehanort after their fight before the events of Birth by Sleep is that he is head over heels in love with this bald old man. Like, dude, he gave you a scar on your face by blasting you with a dark bullet, and you still trust him? Are you stupid? Eraqus, Mr. All the Darkness has to be eradicated, so I'm gonna kill my adopted 14-year-old son, and then my adopted 19-year-old son after he protects him? Just because I gotta get rid of the darkness? But you're still cool with Xehanort existing in the first place? Get a grip, man. Not like that. Or maybe like that. I don't know. But I'm just glad that these two are able to go to Kingdom Hearts Heaven together. Ventus and Vanitas. Okay, I'm just gonna read off my notes for this one. They're kinda like brothers, which makes this really weird. Especially since Vanitas literally calls Ventus his brother in Kingdom Hearts 3 a couple times. But in a world where all we had was Birth by Sleep, I think that the light and darkness completing each other thing makes a little more sense. If they want to take the route of these two characters being brothers, and that's how they want to do their relationship, that works. I'm just saying, if you remove those two lines, you could just as easily interpret their relationship as romantic. And again, I like the light and darkness, kind of a yin-yang thing going on, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, post Kingdom Hearts 3, I'm gonna be honest, I do not care for this, and I think this ship has really fallen off in popularity because of that. I personally don't care for it as much because Ventus is like my least favorite character in the series. And I don't like Vanitas a whole lot more, but it's whatever, I don't really care. Ventus and Strelitzia. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not as knowledgeable about the story of Union Cross. I really haven't rewatched the cutscenes since they originally ran. So Maybe there's some more stuff to this that I'm just forgetting. But you know what? The basic premise of this ship being that Ventus went from being possessed by darkness to kill her to falling in love with them after they've already died, and maybe helping to bring her back from Quadratum or wherever she is. We really don't know what the deal is, if she's actually there. Maybe she's actually there living her life. We don't really know how Quadratum works. I'm gonna be completely honest. Kingdom Hearts 4 needs to come out and explain this. But I digress. Honestly, don't hate this. I think if I had more of an attachment to Ventus and Strelitzia as characters, I might be more into it. But as it stands now, I still don't hate it. Ephemer and Skuld. Okay, so same deal as with Ventus and Strelitzia. I don't really have as much of an attachment to the Union Cross characters and the Unchained Key characters, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to take other people's words for it that this isn't just another boy and girl stand next to each other so they have to kiss type ship. I'm going to take your word that there's a little bit more to this. And maybe there is. I'm well overdue for a rewatch of the Union Cross cutscenes. But hey, this isn't bad. They're clearly very good friends. Probably the two closest characters in the Union Cross era, with the exception of Lauriam and Strelitzia, of course, who are actual literal siblings. I'm struggling to find more to say about this, but yeah, no, it's fine. If I were making a tier list, they'd go probably right in the middle. Riku and Kairi, or Rikai. Okay, not really a lot to this one. Riku really only wanted to share the Paopu fruit with Kairi in Kingdom Hearts 1 to make Sora jealous. It's very obvious that that's what's going on there, to a point where I understand you might not realize that when you're a kid playing the game, which I really like because then that puts you in the same boat as Sora. But watching these scenes as an adult, Riku is very obviously just messing with Sora. And over on Kairi's side of things, she obviously is friends with Riku, but I think a lot of that is built off of her love for Sora. She's super close to Sora, and Sora's super close to Riku, so of course she likes him. Oh, and of course, a lot of Riku's motivation in Kingdom Hearts 1 is to rescue Kairi. Maybe he's going about it in a very wrong way, but he's still trying to rescue Kairi. Kairi is important to him. Probably more than he is to her. Kairi really seems to only have eyes for Sora. In Kingdom Hearts 1, she elects to just take the raft and go, leave Riku behind, just the two of them. And she plays it off as a joke when Sora's like, what are you talking about? But she still said it. And then in Kingdom Hearts 3, when the three of them are back at Destiny Islands, what happens? Riku sits off by himself, talking to himself, and Kairi and Sora sit by themselves. And when Sora asks, hey, what's Riku doing over there? She's like, oh, he wanted to be alone. And then whips out the Paopu fruit, shocking Sora. Could I have gone over this back at the beginning with Sora and Kairi? Probably I should have, but I wanted to talk about it now to lead into the next part, and I also really wanted to start with Sora and Kairi. So yeah, if you're a really big fan of Riku and Kairi as a ship, I get it. I see the vision. I really do. But I think we can do better. Especially since so much of these two characters' love for each other is just love for Sora. Which, of course, leads me to the moment you've all been waiting for. Sora and Riku, or Soriku. I'm pretty sure, I haven't double checked, but I'm pretty sure this is the only ship that I have discussed in this video where it has been co-signed by the voice actor for one of these characters. There is so much evidence for Sora and Riku, or at the very least, Riku being head over heels in love with Sora, devoted to him. And so much of his character seems to be working through these feelings. His struggle with darkness can be seen as a struggle with accepting his feelings for Sora. Not that the darkness is representative of being gay. I don't mean it like that. I mean the personal, internal battle, you know? There is so much evidence and so much to talk about that I cannot, for a second, help myself but tell you to go watch the 6-hour-long Riku is Gay and Why It Matters by Tanel Flowers, as well as its extra addendum video, as well as the extra analysis video of Don't Think Twice. There is genuinely too much for me to go over. Some highlights are, of course, the Gay Blade, the way in Kingdom Hearts 2 they seem to fight almost perfectly in sync, and of course, my absolute favorite piece of evidence is Sanctuary, the theme of Kingdom Hearts 2. I want you to re-listen to that song, and just picture in your mind that the song is being sung from the perspective of Riku. The backwards lyrics of the song are Utada saying, "I need more affection than you know," and "I need true emotions." And I think this is representative of Riku, of his fear of telling Sora how he truly feels. It's just so beautiful. It's chef's kiss. It's so amazing. If we don't get a single other ship made canon in this series, I will be okay. As long as we get Sora and Riku. Genuinely. That 6-hour video essay convinced me. Genuinely. Sora and Riku are probably meant to be together and just haven't been on account of Disney doesn't want there to be a gay protagonist in Kingdom Hearts. That's my best guess as for why it hasn't been done. Because again, I just think there is too much evidence. But who knows, maybe they'll pull a Legend of Korra and they'll be able to kiss in the last 10 minutes of the very last Kingdom Hearts game, whenever that is. But yeah, again, there's genuinely too much to talk about. Go watch the video. It's linked in the description, please. But the video's not over yet. Where could we possibly go from Sora and Riku? How much higher can we go? Can we ascend even higher into the heavens to reside with the angels? I think we can. Because we have one more. Because I have one more ship that I want to talk about. And if you know me, you probably know where I'm going with this. Sora, Riku, and Kairi. So Rikai. This is my holy grail. I can die happy if I get Soriku, but I would ascend to the heavens to have all three of these characters together. I mean, don't get me wrong, I will settle at gay representation, but bisexual polyamorous representation? Oh my goodness. I mean, Kingdom Hearts loves its trios. Kingdom Hearts famously loves its trios, so why don't we push the envelope a little more, you know what I'm saying? I think it would be really good. And I think this satisfies everyone. I can't imagine a person who only likes Sora and Riku because they don't want Sora to end up with Kairi. Or a person who only likes Sora and Kairi because they don't want Sora to end up with Riku. I once made a joke, and I doubt I was the first person to make that joke, and I know I'm not the last to have made it, of Kairi going, "Oh, this is my boyfriend Sora, and this is his boyfriend Riku." This was, I wrote this in a tweet when I was like 15. Like, it's not subtle. It's really not subtle. And I've seen the argument oftentimes that Nomura or whoever else at Square on the writing team for Kingdom Hearts doesn't know how to write friendships. But they do know how to write romantic relationships, because I'm gonna be honest, Sora is closer to Riku than he is to Kairi, and if we can accept that Sora and Kairi are together, I can think of one explanation, and it rhymes with schmomophobia. I mean, how wonderful is it that Sora gets to have his super cool, awesome team-up attack with Riku, as well as Kairi. He loves both of these characters so much. And I don't know, that's all I got. I just think, for all the reasons why I said I like Sora and Kairi, I know not as many as reasons I said I liked Sora and Riku, What can I say? I'm greedy. I want more. That's all I got. I needed to end it on a high note. I needed to end it on my favorite. And I also needed to end it on Riku. Let's be realistic. You don't click on a Kingdom Hearts shipping video without knowing that Sora and Riku is going to get brought up. And if I glossed over a significant Kingdom Hearts ship or just didn't mention it at all, I'm sorry. I think I got the biggest ones that I know of. And there were some that I just didn't want to talk about, either because I really didn't like them personally. I'm not going to judge anyone who's into any ships that I did or didn't talk about, of course. It's all fake. These are all fake characters. Just because I don't like it or it makes me uncomfortable, I'm not going to dictate what you're allowed to like. I just think it's a little weird in some cases. But I'm going to leave it at that. So, please, do not, for a second, be mean to anyone who is into any of the ships on this list that I said I didn't like. Because honestly, I don't really care that much. This is about drawing fan art of anime characters from a Disney video game kissing each other. It's not that big of a deal. Except for Riku. I will go to war over Riku. And I will pray on my hands and knees for Sora, Riku, and Kairi. But yeah, I do want to turn this into more of a discussion because I really don't see talk of Kingdom Hearts shipping in a lot of the fandom spaces that I personally am in. I know it goes on, but I really wanted to get my thoughts out there because I see a lot of the people who talk about the story and the lore of these games kind of gloss over any relationships. Which, you know, makes sense. If you're going to talk about the lore, you don't need to talk about the potential for Roxas and Xion to get together. That's not relevant. I get it. But I think if you're going to talk about the story, because romance is so important in our lives and it's so big and it has so much emotional weight, much like a story does in general, especially a story like Kingdom Hearts, I think leaving it out is a disservice. That's what I'm trying to say here. I just like it, you know? This is why I like stories. Not just because I like romance, but because I think Kingdom Hearts as a series is about the connections that people have to each other. The connections that we make with our hearts. Valentine's Day style. And I think to ignore romance as a part of that kind of does it a disservice. Now, don't get me wrong, I do like that Kingdom Hearts focuses on friendships a lot of the time. But part of my point in making this video is to point out that a lot of these characters feel like they would be romantic relationships. It's just that no one's said so. Like, you could change nothing about Lee and Ice's relationship and just add a line that says that they were dating during the events of Birth by Sleep, and it would be perfectly believable. I find this very interesting, so I really do want to have a discussion about this in the comments below. So please let me know your favorite ships, if I mentioned them, if I didn't, if I missed something. I very well could have missed something. Again, due to this video being kind of podcast style, I might have glossed over something that I should have talked about. As for what's coming next from me, though, the Kingdom Hearts Beginner's Guide will be out soon. I just really wanted to get something out because I haven't uploaded since the SpongeBob video and I'm going insane. But since I'm not getting this out before Valentine's Day, I hope you had a happy Valentine's Day. And until I see you again, with hopefully that Kingdom Hearts Beginner's Guide, I really want to get that out soon. Good gravy. Until then, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe, please, for more. I'll talk about Kingdom Hearts more, I promise. Let me know what you thought in the comments, please. Also, if you like listening to me yap, go check out my Twitch channel in the description. Yeah, I want to plug that more. I want more viewers over on Twitch. And until then, I will see you in the next one. Please take care of yourself, drink lots of water, and as always, have yourselves a damn good one.